let's get into this investing in land versus investing in rental properties. Which one is better for a new investor? Investing in land, waiting for success. The worst thing about investing in land is having to wait for any kind of success or return on investment. That is one negative to land investing, is there's a waiting game. You don't really know when the market is going to turn. Is it a conservative strategy to take, $1,000, park it in a land lot in a major city that is likely to appreciate? I think so, especially if you do some local market research and you can see people are flipping houses and doing ground up deals in the next neighborhood or very close to you. Buying in the path of development, which is something that we talk about a lot during our real estate ride along tours. That is the way to get value with this strategy. You can see, let's say if you were in like Temple University area in Philly, the university is buying the real estate. Then the city is investing and pouring money south of a market like Strawberry Mansion, which is still a very C-class market. So Strawberry Mansion's positioned like here. And then you have the city buying down here, buying up north, because everything south of it is already developed. Then you have the school kind of buying from the east to the west. So it's driving value. If you buy a land lot in the middle of that value and hold it for even 2 to 3 years, the value is going to increase. You want to be in neighborhoods where people are really doing ground up deals, which you'll see. You can see it on the MLS. You can see it on Redfin. But that's how you kind of tap into that strategy. Is it conservative? Sure. Do you know the exact date or year that market is going to explode? No. Maybe the market never explodes. Maybe you're holding this property for so long and the taxes are $150 a year that, you've been holding this thing for 10 years. You put in another 1,500 and it's still only worth 3K. You don't know. But in the law of averages as a strategy, so if you think about this more like a portfolio manager, if you're just working a 9 to 5 and you want a place to park money, parking in land with this strategy in mind may not be a bad idea, because now you can take a G, park it, or 500, park it. And if you spread out your opportunity for excess, maybe you get 10 lots, the chances of any one of them 3, 4, 5xing is extremely high if you're following a philosophy of buying in the path of development. So now, how many of those deals, if you put 500, let's say $1,000 a lot, which is reasonable, especially nationwide, into land lots that were likely to appreciate, that's $10,000. If any one of them 5 or 10x's, you're going to cover all of your costs essentially. And now the rest are just gravy. So you don't really need all of them to 10x, but you need a large enough sample size to experience success. So there is some weighting aspect to land investing that kind of happens because there's something called forced appreciation as a real estate investor. If we're buying rental properties, we can force the appreciation. So if I go to a share sale and buy an existing shell, so I'm just shell hunting. These are the properties that need full gut renovation. The roof is kind of caved in. The property's just kind of blown out. Everything's just going to hell. I'll try to pull up an idea of what we're talking about in terms of shell hunting while we're talking. But if I'm finding shells, I know that I can go in, I can rehab them, and let's go by price low to high. I can rehab these shells and I can force the value. I can add more bedrooms. I can add more bathrooms. I want to see if we have any internal pictures. This would be a good example of like what a shell would look like. You go into that property and you're seeing stuff like this. Like this is showing you kind of water penetration coming from the bathroom upstairs. This is the first floor. All of these cabinets are dead. The windows are dead. You need all new trim, doors. Some of the outlets are in the baseboards, so you have to go in and do a full rewire. This bathroom is completely dead. This whole property, it all needs a full gut job. You're going to put in $100 a square foot on a property like this. But in doing that, if I can buy it low enough and the ARV, the after repair value, is high enough, I can just force value into the deal. I can add more beds and more density per square footage. And I can now get it comped as a 4-bed instead of a 3-bed. I can create value effortlessly with an existing structure versus land. It's kind of just the land. The argument in this article is that, oh, well, you can't really force appreciation. It says, besides the pain of waiting, a real estate investor can't do much in terms of forcing land appreciation. I would say that's wrong. So where that goes wrong is you can value add land. You can. If you get a property that is single family zone, and this could be just land, just a pile of dirt, but it's zoned single family, I can go to an architect, I can get plans put together to say, build me show me plans for a multifamily. Build me plans as if this property was a single family, a multifamily zoned property. So as if the land was zoned multi. Build me plans that would be conforming for multifamily zoned land. So they'll go out and do that. Then I can take that and I can submit it. I can get a variance on that land. If I'm just going to sit on this land for 2 years anyway, now I'm getting a variance to zone this land from single to multifamily. So if I do that, if I go from single to multi, I've just forced value into the land by getting the variance. It might cost me 4 or 5,000 to get a variance, but that added it like 20x the value of the land. So now the land is worth 50K instead of 2K, because now an investor can come in. I told you the value of your land is a derivative of the after repair value. Well, if I can build a triplex on this land now instead of a single, that triplex has an after repair value of $500,000. So 10% of that is like 50K. So somebody will give me somewhere between 25 to 50,000 for this land now, because I took the time to invest 5,000 and wait and put some mental energy into the deal, connect with the architect to do some of these things. So you can force value into land. It just takes longer. On an existing structure deal, I can go in and full gut renovate something that looks like this, something that's in this condition, and it's just a straight up shell, or even worse. I don't even know if they this one's just completely burnt out. This one's completely fried. So I go into that. I can force the value, at an all-time level, and I can do it in 10 to 12 weeks. And then flip it. I have more exit opportunities with the existing structure than I do with the land. The land, I kind of have to sell it to another developer, or I have to develop it. The existing structure, I can rent it out. I can rent to own it. I can flip it. I can Section 8 it. I can room rent it. I can market rent it. You have all these exit opportunities with existing structures and land that you just, quite frankly, you just don't have with land.